right, so window open files in new window controls whether files should be open in a new window. Note that there can be cases where the setting is ignored, like if you use these new window flag or the reuse window flag in command line options. So by default, this is actually set to off, and off means that. So oh, by the way, a little bit of context. This doesn't open files in new window. What files are we talking about? We're not talking about the files in the Explorer view. No, we're talking about the files in the file system of the operating system. Okay, so if you open here, obviously they will always open in a new editor window, but the setting actually, it's too bad that the description is not very well descriptive, but the setting actually pertains to these files when you open them from here or from the command line, not the Explorer view. Okay, so we have off, which means that files will open in the window with the files folder open or the last active window. So if you set this to off, obviously off doesn't mean it's not going to open the files. You will always open the files with VS Code if that's what you have defined, but they will open in the window that contains the folder with that file, or just the last active window if no window with that folder is found. Okay, so let me show you what this looks like. We have two windows here. In this window we have the testing3 repository, and in this window we have my website, andrekazal.com, right? So let's test this out. Let's try and open a file for which that's not inside this folder, okay? And we'll set this window to be the active window. So what we expect to happen is that if we try and open a file that's not on the andrekazal.com folder, we want it to open on this window because this is the active window. Okay, so let's change to Finder. Let's get out of this repository, my website, and let's go into YouTube auto upload, for example, and let's open index.js with VS Code. I'm using the insider's version, by the way. If we do that, we're going to open in the active window. Okay, cool. Let's switch windows. Try again. And there we go. We're opening in the active window. So this is working. Now, if we open a file for which VS Code has the folder opened, it's going to open on the respective window. So we have here my website's folder open, so that means even if we have this window set as the active window and we go to my folder and open some file here, it's still going to open on the other window because it has that folder open. So this makes sense. Okay, cool. So this is the off setting. The other is default. So files will open in the window with the files folder open or the last active window, unless open via the dock or the Finder. Now, what it doesn't say here is that if you open the file via the dock or the Finder, it's going to open in a new window instead of, the window with the files folder or the active window. Okay, so let's check out default. The behavior is the same when hang on. No, now if you open a file from Finder, it's going to always open in a new window, right? So now we have 3 instances, right? So this is if you open through the Finder or the dock, it's going to do that. If you open using a command line, so not the Finder or the dock, so if you do code insiders index.html, it will still open in the relevant window, which is the one that has that folder opened. Okay, slight difference here. And then we have on, which means just always open in a new window. Whatever you do, whether you open this from the command line, new window. So third instance, whether you open it from the Finder, still new window. So it will always open new files in new windows. All right, so the setting that I find most useful is actually the default setting, off. So if you have that files folder already open in some window in VS Code, it will open in that window of VS Code. If not, it's just going to open in the last active window. This is perfectly fine for me. Usually I only have one window anyway, so I'm going to leave this setting set to off.